Okay guys, I want to welcome everybody to another art video here. It's been a while since I've actually made any filming, like videos of me creating art. I've been working a lot behind the scenes working on art, but please excuse me, it's the evening here, and please excuse me for not doing so many recently. I'm going to be doing a lot more. I've just been working on art behind the scenes and working on just plans for my new animated cartoons I'm working on. What you're looking at here on the screen is a little fairly simple image on the screen. I created this myself. It was a really simple image, really. Just a couple of buildings. It was literally two buildings really, with a bit of a side part on one of them, and basically it was made as one image literally, and I basically just then copied and pasted that building around. So if you look at them carefully, you'll see a lot of them are the same, just flipped, stretched, transformed and manipulated and sized and everything, and worked to make it look like there's some perspective to everything. I want to say about this, okay, though, why this is a special one to me is because this was literally done freehand, sketched, and it just goes to show that you can, put together some scenery like this, urban city type scenes. I like to see scenes like this packed together, loads of buildings packed I'm working on some cartoons, I say animated cartoons. I'm very inspired by anime and manga type stuff. You will notice when you look at this that perspective does seem kind of odd, or off, due to the not only is it crazily exaggerated anyway, purposely, but it's not only that, I mean the whole thing, but purposely, as I said, the perspective's a little bit off though, but that's due to the fact that I didn't actually work it properly. I just literally made copies and pastes of the same image and just manipulated it. But then again, you can actually manipulate those to actually work perspective, warp the perspective in the warp, cage transform, whatever it's called as well. But yeah, all in all though, I'm happy with it. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much because you got perspective and then you got perspective. What I mean is every building does actually work off to its own perspective, vanishing point anyway. So it doesn't mean to say that they have to all be facing the same direction anyway. And the ground's different, the heights, the angles, just the angles in which the buildings are turned, so it kind of gives a bit of that. Not only that, but we're not seeing the bottoms of the buildings, are we? So it's okay, it's kind of hidden as well, you could say. But I mean, it just works, for a quick background. Now recently I've been doing a lot of different stuff. I'm going to show you some art before we move on. Before I do that, I want to okay, let's just go in the folder quickly then. So this is a big folder I've created with lots of my recent art. If you check out some of my recent videos, you'll see that I've been doing a lot of different designs. Here's one I did, just a rough thing. That was again copying and pasting different pieces and then editing, drawing on top of the thing. It looks kind of flat though. Freehand. This is another one I did freehand. When this loads up, okay, freehand. Again, copying and pasting, as you can see, a lot of repetition. I didn't do any changing of this at all. The only change there was sizing, and then this perspective angle for this point, diagonal, that one going in there. I worked the perspective too, behind there, with that one a bit fainter looking because it's further away, and then the one on the right is close, stretched out more. Just futuristic looking buildings. I love urban type of scenes. We're purposely looking at urban stuff in this video, okay? I want to just say, so let's look for urban images that I've created. This was taken from an image I found online. It's an actual photo of, it's 2 photos of 2 actual places in Japan, and I actually just manipulated them, flipped them, manipulated and merged them together in a certain way, and edited it highly, and then drew 2 characters in there. There's a lot of editing that went into this to change this image. So it's an actual photo. I was getting very inspired. Recently I've been inspired by this artist called Inio Asano. I can't pronounce his name properly. Asano, this Japanese manga artist, and he's been using like real life photos and also photos of 3D models as well, just to try to help the process. You know, there are people that use different kinds of methods to create art, as I say, like photo bashing for like concept art. I love all this kind of stuff, you know. I was never really into this like idea of using actual photos. The previous images I just showed you were all freehand, and some of them are very recent too, but I like both. And when it comes to drawing or painting, I was really like against that, you know, like photo bashing and like actually using images in there. But after watching some of, looking at a lot of the art by Inio Asano, this Japanese guy, looking at his amazing works and watching his interviews, I come to the conclusion, you know what, some of this stuff's really good. So is like the concept art, where when it comes to concept art as well, like concept art, they will use like photo bashing, and then they'll use freehand, like just all out, just painting. But with like Inio Asano, he's doing the same type of thing. He's like, but for manga. And you know what, to be honest, so not only did it come out really good and nice sometimes, he has got a point, because there's so much detail and so much stuff that you just wouldn't be able to think of in your mind, you know, just like that. And to actually come up with and like draw so much detail, like windows and all the rest of it, sometimes to get really good visuals for backgrounds, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it cheating, opting the cheat option way out, but it is useful. Okay. Now let's look at some more images that I've done rather than rambling on here. I've got some in here as well before we move on. Yeah, a lot of urban scenes here, so I was right to go into this folder. This was just a natural one made with some brushes. I used this for one of my music albums recently, or one of my tracks actually. That's just freehand apart from the leaf brushes and stuff. I forgot if the leaves were actually made by me or I found it online, but let's just check this out. So this, okay, this was a freehand one. I like to do pictures like this sometimes, just totally freehand, and it just works with whatever works. I tell a lie, there was actually a 3D image behind this where the actual bathtub is itself. There was like this cube type shape, and I didn't know what to draw. I was just like in my imagination, and I was just like I just started drawing this bathtub, and I just got rid of the 3D image behind it, and I just drew the whole thing into a bathroom type scene and added some nice colours, made it soft, used some like pencil type looking drawing, you know, lines. Let's just move on and have a look now. So this here I was very inspired. I started looking at this. There was a guy online who was using. There's a guy, yeah, who's using these. He was making custom brushes based off of different kinds of images found online, or any photos you can take yourself or find them online, obviously, and just manipulate the images so that you're using things that aren't actually what they seem. It could be photos of machinery, of buildings, or anything, and basically he turns them into brushes or images, and it's just manipulating stuff, mixing stuff up, changing the sizes, erasing stuff, adding stuff, and until you come up with an image. And as you can see, I've come up with this sci-fi thing here that I made. What you're looking at is nothing but a load of mixed up brushes, just messed up stuff all over the place, and it gives us cool patterns, as you can see in details up here. I added lights, I erased areas and made them into shapes, and I made this like a runway type thing with this spaceship flying in here. I like sci-fi stuff too, you know. So let's move on. So concept art type stuff I love. The music you're listening to in the background, by the way, if you can hear that music, that's just music by me also the ambient music. I'm very inspired by games like Shenmue, amazing game series, and just make a lot of ambient like type music that's inspired me from that series too. So like I make a lot of music which also reflects stuff that I'm inspired by. But yeah, let's continue. So I've got a bunch of images here, which we're going to look at these separately now. We can see the urban aspects, okay? So this was freehand. This is a freehand thing I just did with some shape, just scribbling and just made this up. This was my first, not the first ever one I did, but a few weeks ago when I started doing this, my first one that I liked a lot. As you can see, it's like an absolute mess, but looking in here you can see like things like doorways and all kinds of shapes, like a very urban type scene. It's very messy, but it's like this is again mixed up, all kinds of brushes mixed up, all kinds of shapes turned into brushes from images. Complete mess. And it just shows some urban stuff. So if you were to work with this, you could like really make this into something, you know. But I just kept it for reference. Like I keep a lot of stuff for reference, you know. This one, again, me just trying to get creative, making different kinds of brushes to, again, another way of creating urban scenery. And I made like various brush shapes that are like building shapes, you know. And you can see a bit of grass in there too, plus the sky I made myself, and then also window brushes where you can paint on loads and loads of windows. Like, so I did that as well. This is just different ways I'm trying to work at doing backgrounds. I've had some support and from some people as well. Thank you for the support, guys, for saying that you can see the improvement. Well, yeah, I'm just working at it, you know. Let me just move along here. So the next one, another city scene. This one I did before that one actually, and this one's a bit rougher, I would say. A bit rougher, but yeah. Another one here, a very rough one. I was just like mucking around. We're just looking at urban ones. This is a very rough one with some character in the front there, done in a similar way, with like the mixed up brushes and stuff. We've got this one here. I want to show you. This is, I know, I think Jason, my good friend Jason, likes this particular image. I'm going to show you right now. This one. Thank you, Jason. Again, this is mixed up with a lot of a lot of brushes, you know, just mixed up stuff. Basically, again, same sort of thing. I turned it into an image. Secret basement, secret underground lair. I don't know. I did the two figures in there as well, you know. So we're just looking at scenery pictures, really, is what I'm looking for here. Like, here's another one in the same kind of method. It's really messy. This one, a really bad one, I feel, but you can see the explorations there, you know. I like showing those like dark areas and then that really bright sky and stuff. We're looking at structure type stuff. I drew some cars there, you know, freehand stuff that was. And again, I've dabbled in stuff like 3D models and then tried to like draw over those and stuff. You can check out my other videos and you'll see things like that. It's a freehand structure I did. Kind of looks like Stonehenge, right? There's another one I did here. Working with different methods again. I think this was done with like a photo of some 3D and I drew on top of it. I was dabbling in that yet. Didn't finish it, but you know, it's another 3D one there. This was just a painted image I did. Like, looks like people in the rain, like stick figures. This we're not looking at characters in this really. In this one. Hold on, we're looking at this. Another one, next one I just did. This one is another mixed up one with all kinds of messy brushes just turned into some secret little room. I don't know what this is. Okay. What else we got? Got this one. Again, freehand painted stuff. We're looking at just for like scenery. Oh, this is I'm really proud of this one. I'm not boasting or anything. I'm proud of this one. Freehand freehand, totally freehand this one. I was trying to get detailed there, very rough. I know it's a rough sketch really, but I was trying to, you know, have some fun there. So I'm learning a lot of different methods of just exploring what I can do, you know. More urban stuff, super simple. I thought it was good at the time, kind of, but it's like really, really simple. This one, playing around with my brushes that I've been creating again, like for buildings. Brushes like designed to be for creating buildings, painting them on. Another one I did here, I drew this, and you can see the texture on there's like a texture. I've forgotten if that was made like from a photo or if that was actually drawn on. I can't even remember, but there's a texture that I made on there for the wood. You know. Here's another one. Absolutely rough, just scribbles basically, scribbled messy painted marks that I just turned into a picture. Some kind of scenery, just crazy design. What else do we have? Hold on. This I did a freehand, and that's based off of another one. There's another version of that too, which is, if I can find it, another version of that, if we can find it. Quite a lot of images you can see. Urban stuff. I'm just looking for the other version of that picture. We can just find it quickly. Quite a lot of images. Not too many, but we're going to find it. Hold on one second. Let's go up. We can find that image. See if we can find that image. Where is it then? Oh, there it is. I've just seen it. Okay, the blue one here. See this one. This is the other image. Actually, this was based off that one. Kind of. Another one I did there. Practicing different ways of doing backgrounds, using like lasso tool, different things, you know. Another one I did here, freehand, obviously, freehand. This I did a few nights ago, freehand. Pretty happy with how that one turned out. It was like really simple, but it turned out like, a bit effective, like kind of thing. Just like my silhouettes and that freehand drawing it, you know. Oh, this was another one I did. We've mixed up like brushes again. This turned into like a really special little one. Mixed. When I say mixed up brushes, I mean, as I say, like brushes based off of like just all kinds of imagery, just making an absolute mess and then changing it into a picture. So that's what I did. Okay, that one, yep. Okay, that one there, yep. I'm going to show you some in good order. This I did freehand, obviously. This is like a little story, little comic thing. I just drew freehand, all freehand. This one, little comic thing. Characters I know, but you know, still just showing you. This one you can see how I've been dabbling in like using 3D as a guide and then drawing stuff into it. But again, is it good? Well, it is good to work that way. It really is, using 3D as a guide. I mean, it just as a test, yeah, but it is good to work with it, you know. See the compilation of those images there. Some images you can see there. We're going to look at those images anyway in a moment. Use it again with, you've seen this middle one here already, but the other ones are like, as I say, use the same way with like mixture brushes and stuff. We're going to get to those in a moment. Here's another one I've done here. Really messy. It didn't turn out too well. I saved it at too small a resolution. I started out with a mess, top left there. Then I drew a sketch version on top of that. See, bottom left. And on the right I just added colour and some lights on the right. I changed into something, you know. This one was done freehand. I like this one. I did natural data scene, different. This was my first ever one. I did this one using like those kind of mixed up brushes, as I say, turning it into a scene. Using like just mixed up images turned into brushes. Here's that one again we just saw earlier. Here's a sci-fi one I did with the same kind of method, using like mixed up brushes, as I call them. It's like just made from shape, just custom brushes, you know, based off of images and photos, and then just paint a load of mess and then change it into something. It's just like some alien sci-fi scene, this one. Another freehand drawn picture. You can see the freehand ones look so much more simpler. Not as impressive, but it's like, it's the thing, you know. It depends how you look at it, but you know. This I did freehand, this one. Okay. This one I did freehand also, freehand. I like this one, it turned out pretty good compared to that one, still. Oh, hang on, is that right or wrong? Yeah, that's right, freehand. Test myself, I had to check myself then, I thought it might have been 3D, but yeah. This one you can see testing, messing around with like 3D and then drawing on top of it. Doesn't look as good still though, still actually using it in the scenes necessarily. This one, just drawn freehand. Didn't turn out amazing, but it's a scene nevertheless. What else we got here? Some good one. This is a freehand painting I did for Christmas last year. Freehand. This is another one I did just very recently. This is based. The background's like made of like mixed up brushes and stuff, but the actual scene is an image I drew of like a door and like this little scene, little image, and I basically turned it into a texture and made a 3D model that the whole thing's all pasted all over basically, and then I basically just pushed and pulled bits and pieces in and out to create this 3D thing. So again, playing with 3D, testing stuff out like that, 2D and 3D, mixing it up. This is a very, I'm really happy with this one, probably my favourite actually of the ones that I've done with these mixed up brushes so far. A sci-fi scene. It's not great, but it's like it's sci-fi nevertheless. I like this car on the left here, and I like some of the buildings in the distance over here, and there's the signs and things I added up there, and even like things up like the sky colour up here. I like this. If you look at it from far away, it gives an effect, you know. Okay, so let's go down here. This is an actual one I drew over that 3D earlier on I showed you. Not so good, I know. Another one I did freehand. I made the brushes myself, you know, and stuff. This one here. What else we got? Let me show you. We're going to go back up and see some of the ones we didn't look at in a moment. Did this some spooky room freehand. This one again with like mixed up brushes, as you can see. Not bad, rough one, but still not great. I'm going to show you. Oh, this I did freehand. People in a library. This also, this robot thing I did freehand. This room, which I did freehand, I'm very happy with that one. There's a better version of it as well. You'll see in a moment a much better version of that room. If it will reveal itself to us, here it is. Okay, this one here, very happy how that turned out for what it is. Okay, look here. Okay, another one made from mixed up brushes and stuff. Okay. Urban's little tunnel on below here. These people are standing above, and there's a tunnel there. Quick Terminator one. I'll show you just really quickly for fun. Okay, this I drew this freehand. So we're looking at anything with urban kind of scenes again, scenery in these pictures. We're focusing on more than characters in this particular video I'm showing you here. This one, okay, I'm going to show you now. Again, inspired by that Inio Asano guy. You can see in the bottom right there's a photo I took, this one, and I just basically drew on top of it and created this, manipulated that and into that, and then I made a colour version as well and flipped it, you know. So that's one there. Testing this kind of style out using like photos. But yeah, so freehand, like copying and pasting different bits of buildings and stuff. Very messy one. Same thing again, freehand, again, just trying different methods of creating scenery. Not too good, but still the same sort of thing. Freehand, just quickly chucking a simple background in between behind two characters to see what it looked like. Rough. Here's that 3D model again without any background and colours. This one, very very happy with this one. I even used this one for I used this one for a music cover album I made for my music. I make a lot of music too, so urban scene made up from mixed up brushes again, like photos and images turned into brushes, made an absolute mess everywhere, just turned it into an urban looking scene. What's this one? Oh, this one, same kind of style, same thing, fairly recent. This one turned it into a sci-fi scene. I don't think there was any images of actual buildings in this one either. It's one of those ones where I just use all kinds of machinery and stuff and just turn it into some urban scene, sci-fi type futuristic thing, black and white. This is freehand, obviously using stuff like lasso tools and stuff, you know. Yeah. Bit of fun. Let's move on. Moving back up now. This one, another one with like mixed up brushes, a bit messy. Happy with it at the time because I was exploring stuff, but a bit messy. I like these buildings on the back, they look pretty cool. And the words up on here and stuff, it looks pretty cool with that. But still. This one's freehand, pencil sketch and drawn in, kind of similar to what I did with that bathtub I showed you again. Patiently just drawing it all in, you know. Funny little scene here, some people. Okay, again, Inio Asano inspiration. I drew this from an actual photo I took on the street and I just altered it big time to turn it into you know, a scene. I added trees and stuff, I filled in areas, added lines, erased stuff, put signs in and a few things just to make it into a scene, okay? And a sky. Yeah. So playing around with those kind of methods as well, you know. Let's move on. We've got some more. This one side by side, again the two versions of this. Okay. This, yep, mixed up brushes. Really, really happy with this one. How it turned out, a sci-fi type thing. I even used this in one of another music video that I made. Well, music, but in the video I used this art as well. So what else we got? This one, freehand one, rough, practicing like copy, pasting, and then editing stuff. As I say. Okay, this one again, mixed up brushes. So I call them mixed up brushes. It's not really what they are. Is just like brushes made from all kinds of shapes and photos and stuff, just turned into brushes, and you just make a mess, and then you turn it into an image like that. Random, but with some kind of guidance, turned into this sci-fi scene here, stuck on an alien planet. This one, freehand. This freehand scene I did here, freehand. Okay, this is like some robot type scene again, mixed up brushes, and I turned into some like sci-fi robot kind of / Transformers-esque sort of scene thing here. Yeah. What else we got? We're nearly finished on this page. This one. Another one, mixed up brushes. Pretty happy with that, how it turned out, even that's really rough. Good exploration, you know. I think we're finished with those. This woman's on the path to this freehand. The woman's better than the background, but still. So look at that. This is not an urban scene, it's just some people fighting with swords, but if I show you that. Oh yeah, another one made from mixed up brushes, this one. Sci-fi. Good fun how this one turned out. Rough though. Let's move on. Oh, this one, there's a little sneaky one here I forgot about here. Practicing perspective, freehand. See, freehand, giving myself like a guide and then drawing scenes. So we've got two different scenes here. Got this one. It's practicing perspective, my own perspective. It was a bit big, I must say. You see that? Based off of that, I created that. And then based off of this one, I made this. Freehand. Oh, and you know, give myself the perspective and made it. So, pretty happy how it works out when you have that perspective, see? Yeah, so that's that. Thinking about light and shadows too. Here's a picture of a woman I did, based off a scribble sketch type thing again. Oh yeah. Just check them out. you know, so just working all kinds of things when I do characters and stuff. You know, I'm just trying to improve my character drawings too, as you know, but I'm not going to be looking at characters in this video for the most part. So this one, so you can see this Inyo Asano inspired one. There's the photo on the right, and then there's my image on the left. You can see that how I've manipulated stuff to create the images, you see the image. Okay, so let's have a look now at this one. This is probably the best one, I think. Not this one. Oh, this is another one here based off of 3D, but there's a lot of different images I could show you, like character stuff in it, but let's just move on. This is the best one, okay, I did based off of like mixed up brushes, as I call them. This turned into a very cinematic sci-fi type weird scene, this one. I mean, wow, not boasting anything, I'm just saying, but how that turned out surprised me. Yeah, okay, so that's that one. Okay, that's that one there. Yeah, I'm going to move on quickly and look at the next page. So on the go, when I was out and about, I was like looking at buildings and stuff. I've taken so many photos and reference photos of scenery by myself. I'm doing that a lot now, and photos of anything, like stuff, taking photos by myself and doing them, finding images online as well. And here's one. I took a photo of one building and I manipulated it and then just created this crazy scene. I turned it into a brush, made it look like a drawing sort of thing, edited it a bit, and then just painted this massive crazy scene. And that's a quick way of doing it, you know, as well as drawing freehand stuff. And it does like prove it pays, man. You know, I really feel Inyo Asano's got a lot of stuff going. He's right, you know. It does help to use like actual photos sometimes, I feel. But let's check out the next one, you'll see what I mean. This is the next one I've done with two buildings. Look at that one. Now, hold on. It's like really manga-y, like I want to have that kind of manga anime type stuff, see? So yeah, this is literally two different photos of two different buildings. The one you just saw in the last picture, and then another building. I've just basically turned them into brushes, played around with the size and everything, and just blasted it all in there and just made a scene. Put a sky, added some colour, light, slight blur. I've edited it all, obviously black and white. Put like lines in and just made it this scene. And I'm pretty happy with that. The fact that we can do this sort of stuff. So that's what happened. I thought, well, you know, I can't abandon like freehand stuff as well. I need to work on my freehand practice of drawing buildings and stuff and scenes anyway. And I thought, you know, I can use reference, and you can use like drawing, making buildings and things, anything out of anything really. You can have an image of anything and you can manipulate the photo and draw on top of it and make anything. It might not even be a building, but you could make it look like a building. You can make brushes out of anything, and use copy and paste method and use brush methods and just manipulate anything to your heart's content for detail. And I thought, right, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use photos and I'm going to use my own stuff and mix it all up and do what I'm going to do. And then that's what happened, taking us back full loop now. That's where I just did a really simple one here. You can see it's not so crisp, but I made this earlier, and you know, to be honest, you know, there you go. Considering that didn't take too much work to do that, and if that was just a quick scene in a rough comic or something, or an animation, that would be okay, that to have. So my idea is to make a lot of brushes for different things. Get brushes for buildings and lots of images of buildings that I create myself, and then some that are made from photos as well, and just have all kinds of stuff ready to like blast in and make urban scenes and stuff for my animated cartoons. I've been writing some scripts for new cartoons anyway. I've got design ideas for characters. And the idea in this video really was just to show you a couple of pictures and then start actually making some brushes in the video. But I didn't do that. So I'm going to stop the video now to make this video not so long, and say thank you very much for watching. In the next videos I might actually be drawing some buildings and stuff like that. I think rather than just drawing a scene at a time, I think it's a good idea to actually make, as well as just doing that, also have like practice drawing like urban just buildings in general from different angles and stuff. You can use make your own guidelines or use guidelines for perspective. If you check out my other videos, I've shown you certain things that I do for perspective, like using 3D, like using SketchUp, using Blender, grids and stuff that I've made, using even in Fire Alpaca, the art software, it's actually got a 3D grid, a 3D guide, 3D guide tools in there, which is different to Jump Paint and Medibang. Medibang Paint and Jump Paint look the same, and they both look the same as Fire Alpaca. But no, Fire Alpaca is the one there. Fire Alpaca, as far as I know, I don't know about the new versions of the other ones I just mentioned, but Fire Alpaca, you do have this 3D guide thing, which is a good tool. We can use it as a reference rather than jumping between SketchUp and Blender just to get an image reference. But you can do it, doesn't really matter. You can use any photo of anything, photos of buildings, photos of anything, or just make your own guidelines carefully. Any of these softwares. I mean, Photoshop and Manga Studio, that's Clip Studio, okay? Photoshop and Clip Studio, you can actually have 3D stuff in there, models, and bring those in as well and use them, draw on top of them if you want to. But I'm just saying, Fire Alpaca is great. It's lightweight, it's got so much you can do in it. It's a great piece of software and it can do that. And my favourite art software other than Fire Alpaca, and the one I love to use a lot, is actually Krita. As you know, I like to use Krita because it's great for animation. They both can do animation, but from animation it's great. I'm just saying though, that's what it is. Krita can do animation and good painting and everything, but they're both great for comics. They're both great for animation, so they're my choice. They're my main choices. Krita and Fire Alpaca. Recently I did download the new version of GIMP, but I've had problems with it. I need to download another driver or something to make it compatible with my screen. This Huion, however you pronounce it, this on the screen I'm using. But I've used a lot of different art softwares. You might use whatever you use, Procreate or whatever. It's up to you. As I say, Photoshop's good. Manga Studio, that's Clip Studio. There's so many different art softwares out there. Art Weaver, Art Rage, Paint.net, fair enough. You might use what's that one called? Paint Shop Pro, is it? There's another one called, what's that other one called? Oh my god. What's that one called, man? Autodesk, I think it's free though. It's called something Pro. Sketchbook. I think it's Sketchbook, is it? Sketchbook Pro? It's not too bad actually. It's not too bad one actually. But it can do a little bit of animation too, but the only thing is it can't do so much because there's limited layers. That's the same problem you have with Fire Alpaca. So for animation, definitely Krita's the one I'd say, or use Photoshop if you do. Yeah, I'm going to be working on all kinds of scenery and trying to, these buildings were sketched in so simply, I must say. But I do like to have fun, creating certain buildings and stuff, scenery. So I've got scripts, I'm actually writing scripts for my new animated cartoons and characters I'm designing. And thanks for watching this. Okay, take care. There'll be more videos on character designs and stuff like that too, and other elements, okay, and different things. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching this video, and you take care now, guys. Thanks a lot. Take care. Happy drawing and painting.